we're constantly in communication with them, and both organizations have a vested interest in making sure that our projects together work.
And can you speak a little bit about the track record that this company has?
Yeah, so they manage 12,000 units throughout the state of California. They manage developments, as far south as San Diego. And I think our furthest north one that we have with them is here in the Bay Area. So they cover the vast majority of the state. I know that they have 2 regional managers for Northern California that oversee, I think we have 8 or 9 projects in the Northern California region. So we have 2 regional managers, and then each property has its own property manager. And sometimes, depending on the size of the property, there's even an assistant property manager.
And it says here that construction starts, I think, in August. So has it started already?
Yeah. So they demolished, there was like an old auto garage.
Right.
They demolished that, I think last week.
Were there any closures of streets, or how is that going to impact the surrounding residents?
Yeah, so I think that there might be some, we have a traffic management plan. There will be periodic closures of parking, but I don't think that we're planning on doing any street closures. The caveat to that might be when we do the final hookups for water, there might be some lane closures associated with that, just while we tap into the water and sewer mains.
Sounds good. Thank you.
What else?
Is this building federally funded?
So kind of in a roundabout way, there's project-based vouchers on it. So that's technically a form of federal funding. And then it's funded partially through low-income housing tax credits. So that's a tax credit that corporations can use. So it's not directly federal funding, but it's funded through like a tax credit.
Can undocumented families?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure though. I would have to go and get clarification on that.
I see the person nodding.
Yeah, the capital sources that are in that don't have any requirements around that. There's no requirement to be checking documentation for any of the capital sources. There's, I think it's 24 units have project-based Section 8 vouchers, like Jake mentioned, that the housing authority is required to do that check. Yeah.
Got some questions?
Hello, thank you for your presentation. Yay for affordable housing in North Fair Oaks. I will be a big champion of all of what you guys do, so thank you. Couple questions. 23 parking spaces and 76 bike spaces. Knowing that a lot of our families in North Fair Oaks probably have 1 or 2 cars because workers are going in different directions. Mom might do one job, father might do another, or couples living together. Is there any chance of converting a few of those bike spaces into another couple parking spaces? I just don't think that's a really tight area. I just don't see a lot of people that live and work in North Fair Oaks are able to ride a bike. So I'm just wondering, is there any little wiggle room for adding some additional parking spaces, because we know that that's also a congested parking area for residents and the businesses around there. So we're just going to push more cars out to an already crowded street. So I don't know if it's an option, but thought I would ask. And then I'm also curious, do you separate your properties in such a way that families are a bit separated from the mental health or the veteran community, so that there's not a house of 3 kids and then perhaps, a veteran right next door? Do you separate out the communities in such a way that would allow a bit of, lifestyle considerations?
Yeah, so I'll start with the parking question first. So there's not a way to add additional parking spaces at this time without us, going back to planning. Right now, I know that about half of our parking stalls are compact and half of them are full-size parking spaces. So, I guess it would seem to me that maybe the lowest hanging fruit would be seeing if we could, depending on where columns are and things like that, if we could potentially do some additional compact spaces. Most of these units are studio and 1-bed units. And kind of given the large number of supportive housing units in the property, we actually find that the majority of our tenants in these types of projects don't have cars. So we've been parking our other projects that are similar to this one at basically 1 stall for every 2 to every 4 units. And it's been working on most of them pretty well. In terms of the question about the populations being interspersed, the 2 and 3 bedroom units are kind of interspersed throughout the development in such a way that there could be PSH or supportive housing tenants next to a family unit. We're pretty confident in our supportive services plan on this property and our full-time on-site property manager to keep conditions manageable and to keep all the tenants happy. We certainly don't want to be losing 2 and 3 bedroom tenants, so we'll be leaning heavily on our supportive service team and our property management team to manage that.
Okay. And this might be a question for Ray. Is there, knowing that there is a need for families in North Fair Oaks for housing for families I guess, is it a bottom line dollar number that stops us from building, or facilitating, like making sure that we build more 2 and 3 bedroom? And the other reason that I ask that is not only for families, but young people who can't afford, a $2,500 downtown fancy apartment in Redwood City, but they could, share a 2 or 3 bedroom unit with a couple of roommates in their, 20s and 30s. Is there a reason why we don't push for more of that? Is it a dollar and cents for the bottom line?
Well, yeah, I mean, the larger units, of course, are more expensive. They're hard to develop in that way too. But no, I mean, I think we need both, and we want to see both. We do need more permanent supportive housing and smaller units for smaller households, but definitely families too. So we are we're focused on both. I think Middlefield Junction is a good example. I think the breakdown there must be, I think it's 159 units for families and 20 for a permanent supportive housing population. So we are trying to do both. There was, I think, a ton of focus over the last 5 years, I'd say, both at the county level, but also at the state level. We try to partner as much as we can with the state on financing. That kind of the focus kind of pushed a lot of the dollars that we can use to build the units towards some of those smaller units. That I think has changed to some degree, partially just because the state doesn't have any money right now, but the county's focus, I think, has changed a little bit on this too, and we really are prioritizing units for families. As you know, these things take a long time from kind of creation and inception to get to the point of starting construction. So this has been in the works, of course, for 5+ years now. So I think that there's a bit of figment around that too, but we definitely hear you. Focusing on families is one of our priorities going forward.
Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you then Monarch for bringing this to North Fair Oaks. It's so badly needed. And Ray, can we bring you back another time? Because I have a whole bunch of questions for you.
Yeah, you anytime, yep.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys.
Anyone else have questions?
Just a couple for Ray. Ray, I'm assuming this is consistent, density wise, it's consistent with the rezoning we completed
Right,
18 months ago, something like
I'm
that.
sure the density ones are here, but yeah, aside.
And do we get credit for this development in our 2024, 2032 RENA numbers?
We're at 3,414.
I think it must be in this reverse of the last.
For SB 35 or for the building?
Yeah, for the building permit timing wise.
The building was, we just submitted in December or January.
So yeah, it'd be in
But
the
it's the
start.
current one. And then finally, when we talk about an application process, hoping the size people who already live in the community and you know, perhaps are living, we have multifamilies and single family homes. Perhaps non-permitted dwellings, things like that. So the outreach will be there to get people in that situation.
Yeah, we want to do heavy marketing in Fair Oaks around this project. We were doing that in Middlefield Junction. Actually, Connie from Supervisor Gauchier's team is pretty instrumental in helping us get the process to use there. We'll have final numbers on that soon, but it looks like it had a strong correlation.
That's true.
Backwards there, so hopefully I'll get to report back to you on that soon.
Thanks very much.
Else? Please.
It says that.
Oh,
There you go.
okay. So for projects that already received DOH loans, what is the backup plan if additional state or federal funding is not secured?
Good question. Yeah, you know, it's not a call it a plan, it's not a great outcome, but generally they take longer to get the financing put together. We end up sometimes having to put more money into those projects. North Fair Oaks is not 100% unique, but the unincorporated county is kind of unique in that there's no city for us to partner with. Sometimes the cities have some funding, fees and impact fees and things like that. Products. So sometimes the cities do chip in more as well to the unincorporated county with the city partners. It's kind of just complicated to make it go forward. One good thing from a housing perspective that did happen at the federal level recently in HR 1, there were actually boosts to the tax credit program that Jake mentioned, things that will help us do more affordable housing. So that was one positive. There should have more access to tax credits in the coming years because of some things that HR. So that was one bright side. So that's all.
Thank you.
Please, Richard.
So it says your applications will be mailed, so will there not be an online application?
I believe that there will be an online application process, but I'd have to double check. the property.
And if you look
Is
at
it?
We've got all of our, everybody who receives funding from us now has to post them to the doorway website, so this will end up on doorway and that application.
And then the third bullet point says that they will be interviewed. So is there like, are you guys prioritizing residents from North Fair Oaks during this application process? Are you prioritizing them?
So the application is processed in the order that they're received. You know, basically the way it would work is, you know, an application comes in a particular order. And, you know, if the building is full yet, then, you know, the follow-up would occur where there's some like income verification, there's some interview process, and then the unit could potentially be rented. So it's really just dependent on when the application comes in.
First come, first served.
At the initial piece of the doorway site, we'll randomize everything that came in, but it'll create an order, and then from that point, we have to go straight down that list. But with the marketing that we're gonna do in North Fair Oaks up front, the idea is kind of that you stack the deck and then you get as many, in that you get as many people who are living in North Fair Oaks get that list from the start.
Yeah, I mean, on some of my past projects, we put up banners and things like that, and I just get a tremendous number of calls. Even like when I have like a construction information sign about like, you have a complaint about construction noise or whatever, call this number, we find even those numbers steady. Just tremendous numbers, number of calls from those.
Any additional comments? I've got a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. I was recently just reminded that we are actually out of time. If it's okay, I would love to chat with you guys. Really good be more afterwards. In the interest of time, is there any public comments?
Public comment.
No public comments, okay. I will move to report out.
Yes.
Good evening. In the interest of time, I will be really brief. I will first start out by saying thank you so much for your dedication and your time to this council. It means so much to the community and to my office. And for those who I haven't met, my name is Lisa Gaucher. I am the supervisor for District 4. And again, I just appreciate all of your support. I'm here to report out. I met with the president and we talked a little bit about speeding on Fair Oaks Avenue. And I'm here with an update. We know that we've worked with the sheriff's office and they have vehicles going through the neighborhood. Highway Patrol has been in the community and they've increased their hours for evening and mornings as well. And what I have so far on the citations that have been given out, and they represent all of North Fair Oaks. In the month of May, there were 10 speeding citations. In June, 14 speeding citations, July 30, and in August 34. And what we want to do, we don't want to harm anyone, but we want to make sure that people understand that school is back in. We want to be mindful of our little people who are walking and bicycling to school and make sure that they can get there safely. So if we can remind people to slow down in our neighborhoods, we're all going to get where we need to go eventually. And put down your devices so you're not distracted when you're driving. In addition, the district is working on scheduling one-on-ones with everyone. And I hope if we haven't already reached out, we will be reaching out to schedule one-on-ones with all of the commissioners. And we're working to place an item on a future agenda where we can talk more about the roles, responsibilities, and we can just work together and I can learn more about the work that you're doing. Lastly, again, I want to say thank you. I know many of you worked all day. Now you've spent time here at this table and the work that you do here really has an impact on North Fair Oaks. Lastly, I want to just say enjoy the long weekend. Happy Labor Day. Thank you.
So Casey, would like to take a motion to adjourn. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, Councilor, any other reports?
I just wanted to thank Supervisor Gaucher for appearing and presenting at the meeting today. This was a bit of a long one, so thanks for hanging in there, making the presentation yourself. Thank you.
Yes, so if you guys recall, the road closure happened like 2 months ago. Unfortunately, the stoplight is still not on. So maybe you can get a report on that. I also had the chance to meet with the St. Francis Center this week, and they have a lot of affordable housing, so that's something that I think a lot of us got an invite to just talk to them. And I know they have a Magical Bridge Park project that we can get information more about online. And I believe I got an invite to the Monarch Apartments groundbreaking, so thank you for that. Unfortunately, the supervisor said, a lot of us do work 9 to 5, so we couldn't make it to that. Thank you.
Can we
Like any material, can we get any of the materials ahead of time? Yeah, yesterday. So I wish we could get it sooner. Like 3 days maybe, or 4 days before. Just so I have time to review things and go. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, like that, get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stand adjourned. Thanks, folks. The time is now 9:00 p.m. Meeting is adjourned.